Hello again and welcome to my video. Today I've got a little project where I've got to join two pieces of screwed rod together. Well, in actual fact it's four to make two 2-metre lengths. Customer wants them joined together so that he can use them like a torque bar or torsion bar, whatever you want to call it. It's just so that he can clamp some planks of wood together and just put some pressure on them all the way through 2 meters wide. Okay, so again I'll be doing a little job on the lathe here, and it's really I'll just drill a small hole in the end of the rod, turn the other end on, turn down one end on the other piece, and then I can braze them together so that so that it just forms one long length. Okay, so let's get on and do this job, and it shouldn't take too long. It's quite a minor little job, but quite interesting. Okay, see you in the next frame. So here we are, just facing off the end of the screwed rod. As you can see, I've put the collet chuck back on the lathe. It's a bit more accurate than the 3-jaw chuck. And as these rods are only 8mm diameter, I need to be fairly accurate with them. I can't turn it very quick, too fast, because as you already know, I've got 1 metre of rod in there, so there's quite a bit sticking out the back of the lathe. And if I turn it too fast, that will just rattle around and possibly even throw out and bend. So I'm just turning it at a moderate speed so that I can then put a centre drill into the end. But first of all, I've got to square up the end with an ordinary facing tool, just so that we can get a nice flat end on the thing. I've put a small chamfer on the end of it as well, just to give it somewhere for the welding or the brazing to go. So there we are. So now that we've got the centre drill in, we can now put a 4mm drill in, just to form a hole in the end to get some flux in, so that when we braze it, the whole thing will hold together nicely, and then we'll move on to the next bit. So on the other end of the screwed rod, I'm about to turn a spigot on the end. I'll turn that down to 4mm diameter and about 10mm long. That's all. It doesn't need to be particularly long. It's really just to centralise the rods so that I can then braze them together. So if I make it too long, then the brazing wouldn't really get in deep enough. Okay, so this is pretty much the final stage of this job. Just got to braze these together. I'm using an oxyacetylene flame, and with steel, really you need to get it to a nice bright cherry red, so that the brass or the brazing rod can flow through. It's well fluxed up. The flux acts as a medium for the brass to flow through. If it's provided the steel is hot enough, the brass will melt, and it can quite often form a very, very strong bond to the steel. The steel would probably break before the brass did, because the brass would flex more. So yeah, it's pretty good. The job doesn't look too bad either. It's flowing in quite nicely. It's not too bulky on the joint either. So that'll be it'll be fine for the customer when it pushes it through the hole in the timbers that he's working with. Then there won't be too much restriction on it. Then all he's got to do is just put a nut on each end and screw the things up. I believe he's making some gates, so he's hoping that these truss rods will just support the whole thing and pull it in nice and square. So, okay. Well, here they are, two rods joined together, basically roughly 2 meters long, probably just about a centimetre less on each one, so that I could join them together. So as you can see, there's a joint here. Don't know whether you can see it very well from that distance, but anyway, it didn't take too long anyway, so I'll give the customer a ring and tell him that they're all ready for it. Okay, so thanks very much for watching. Goodbye.